You're live. What about now? I mean, it's actually physically showing a live vertical stream right now. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but nothing I can do about it now. Nothing I can do about it now. Um, Generally speaking, people who are successful in any walk of life are successful because they do the task, the job, or whatever it is that other people don't want to do. Now, I don't know exactly what that means in this, in this particular light. But what I do know is that it's going to be a whole heck of a lot more rewarding to go out and cultivate a real relationship with a real person, than it ever will be try to use an AI facsimile robot as your companionship. Man, there are so many benefits to it, but there's just such a societal, there's such a potential societal problem with it that it's really hard to just go and say, yeah, this is a great thing. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that realistic AI robots are right down the street. They're not right around the corner. Every AI robot that I've seen so far is kind of jerky and, that sort of stuff. They're not even, it's not like you couldn't tell in 2 seconds that this is not a real robot. And most of the robots that exist are made by companies that aren't very good so far at creating the conversational piece that people would be looking for, the emotional connection and all that sort of stuff. However, AI, as it exists out there, has already gotten to the point where it can do that very well. So what'll end up inevitably happening is people will pick up one of these extremely advanced robots that are getting very close to not being these choppy things, and they'll put their own AI or a custom built AI into it. And that's what you're going to end up happening. That's what's going to end up happening, because there's not going to be any one company that's good at any one thing. You're going to find companies that are extremely good at building extremely lifelike robots that are basically, you talk to them and 5 minutes later they talk back. That's the kind of stuff that we have now. However, if you combine that amazing physical body with an actual AI personality and stuff that already exists, you're gonna get a lot closer. It's just that one company is probably gonna have difficulty putting that together. So what they'll end up being is an industry out there that customizes and modifies these robots in order to make them more what each person is looking for. And I think that's going to end up being some sort of cottage industry, actually, where we have people who actually customize personalities and that sort of stuff on these robots to make them more what the individual is looking for. And once again, we enter into an area where socially, I think that can be extremely damaging. We have already seen in certain situations what a person looks like when they've been given everything that they could possibly ever want in life, when nobody ever says no to them. And these people are insufferable. They're not even happy people. They're angry, and they're, So when you have a robot that gives you everything you want, and never says no to you, how do you think that's going to affect men when they get out in the real world, in society? I mean, we're already talking about youngsters that were freaking coddled as a kid anyways. I don't think that we could say that that's anything good. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. In life, you have to have the ups and the downs. You are never going to have that magic moment where everything is perfect and you have the best day ever, and you laugh and you enjoy your friends and you enjoy. You're never going to have that day unless you have the bad days. The days where you spend 8 hours at work and nothing goes right. As human beings, we need that suffering. This is just the way it is. This is not me saying, hey, we need more suffering in the world. I'm just saying the way that our brains work, we cannot enjoy the good times half as much if we don't have the bad times or the down times. Now, granted, there's a distinct level of good and bad, down times and that sort of stuff. So we don't want to have, you don't want to live in poverty your whole life. That would be miserable. But the simple fact is that if you live in poverty all your life, the very simple things that happen that are good have that same effect as the person who lives in the middle class all their life, has the ups and downs of normal life, and they get a very special thing happen, or a vacation, or whatever. The point is, the highs and lows are relative to what your normal life is like. It's one of the things that we celebrate when we see somebody succeed in life who came from such a low point, low spot. Maybe they were abused or in foster care, and the next thing you know, they grow up to be billionaires. We celebrate those people because of what they overcame. But they didn't overcome those things, and they aren't able to enjoy the things they have now half as much if they didn't go through all those trials and tribulations. So while we try to avoid hardship and all of that sort of stuff in our life, it is also a necessary component to being a happy, grounded, and well-rounded human being. If you've never been through any hardship, then you cannot relate to other people who have hardship. It takes that heart away from your reaction to how other people suffering from hardship work. If you can't relate to it, you can't empathize with it and that sort of stuff. And it's really important because, God knows, we need more empathy in today's society. And if you've never had any hardship in your life, if your mom never said, you know what, go rub some dirt in it and go back out and play, well, then then it's really no wonder that we can't communicate and there's no empathy, irregardless of who it is. And AI robots are certainly not going to make that better. But that's just my opinion. I would love to hear your opinion. If you're in the chat, please say hi. Let us know where you're at. I would like to know. I think we're not getting a whole heck of a lot of TikTok action because we had some audio troubles at the beginning of the stream, which is kind of a bummer because this is a fun topic that I really think that my TikTok brothers would enjoy. But they're going to have to enjoy it in video form, which has been doing absolutely awesome. I'm really excited about the way that our videos are performing on TikTok. It has been awesome. They're doing okay on YouTube, but on TikTok, they're really performing well. And that is very, very exciting. But hey, you know what? It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys for a half hour or so. I really do appreciate it. If you want to leave some input or feedback, you can definitely put it down in the comments, and I'll get to it, I'll respond, and all that fun stuff. That's what we do here at Muffin to Say. And if you have topics that you want to talk about here on Muffin to Say, well, we get together between 10 and 11 or so every single day and talk about them. All you have to do is leave them down in the comments section, and, we'll bring them up. We'll talk about them. We're not afraid to talk about stuff here at all. At all, I do have this weird thing that keeps happening with my head, though. I don't understand it. I mean, everything looks totally natural, but it's, weird. It's like I have a bulgy neck. Okay, that was weird. thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And, you know, we're going to come back again tomorrow, talk about something else. So if you want us to talk about something, the comment section is where that can all happen. Love you guys. Take care. And I'll see you in the next one, of course.